getting out of my garage, and I have to make a left here. Excuse that. The light is very short. That is the problem. As you can see, I live in Yongsan. It's not too far from the museum, which is on my left. And I'm on my way to Songdo, which is where my school, SUNY Stony Brook, is located. And it should take me about 50 minutes. And so I'm crossing the Dongjak Bridge, which is one of many bridges that allow people who live on the north side of the river, called Gangbuk, cross over to the south side of the river, you guessed it, called Gangnam. So you might have 9 bridges. This is one of the older ones, as you can see on the left, those of you who can't see it. And it looks pretty old. And it may appear in many movies, such as The Host, or Gemur, as we called it, a very famous movie by Bong Joon-ho, who became world famous with his movie Parasite, or Kisaengchung, as we called it in Korean. So I will just cross over. You can see the traffic is quite bad. It's about 10:15 a.m. and this particular road connects Seoul to Gwacheon, and Gwacheon is where many of the ministries are still located, even though they moved many of them to Sejong, which is a new city in Chungcheong province. You still have many governmental agencies and therefore employees going to Gwacheon, and people who have business with the government going to Gwacheon. So there is this traffic. I assume that many of these bottlenecks are caused because of that. I've been stuck in this traffic for 27 minutes, believe it or not. And so part of my daily routine, maybe even half of my total time, is taken up with my I guess you can call it a journey to Sadang Tunnel, which I can see from afar. But once I get to it, well, then it takes me maybe about 30 minutes from there. So half of it is pretty backed up, but the other half is pretty open. I've now entered Sarang Tunnel, and so as you can see, the traffic is moving, finally. Terrible day for driving. I'm about to enter into part of Songdo, which actually belongs to Incheon. And even here, it's usually not this jam, but today maybe they knew I was filming. And here's a shot of me, and I'm surrounded by trucks. It's a hazy day. I think it's some of that spring dust that we always complain about during the spring. It wasn't so bad during the pandemic, but since a lot of the pandemic has now subsided, we have that dust again. Okay, let me use this time to muse about the 2024 Academy Awards, which I saw for the most part, and I won't tell you who the winners were because that you will already know, and there weren't that many surprises. I think some outlets maybe reported that Emma Stone's win for Poor Things was maybe a bit of a surprise, maybe even to her, and because I think some people had expected Lily Gladstone from the Flowers of the Moonkiller to win, and I believe that movie was completely shut out, and the big winner, of course, was Oppenheimer, winning most of their big awards, and it marked the first win for Christopher Nolan. So I saw Oppenheimer. I liked it. I can't say honestly that I loved it. To me, I think for Christopher Nolan, it's a well-deserved Oscar. But I think it's not just for Oppenheimer, but maybe for the body of work that he has made. But of course, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Inception, his Batman movies, and Memento, Insomnia. So he's been at it for 20 plus years. He's still young, but it speaks of his genius. And for me, I think my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, especially when seeing it at an IMAX, was Dunkirk. And I read about how he had written the script with his brother and almost had a mathematical equation in his mind, because he had to juggle the storytelling, and it's a 3-part movie with Cillian Murphy in it, and Cillian Murphy, I think, is in the day part, so it chronicles his day, and I won't spoil it for those who haven't seen Dunkirk, but so he's in it, and it occurs over a day when he gets rescued, but it also covers 1 hour for the pilot, and it covers also a week. So again, it was masterful how he interweaved those 3 parts, and they all held together. So for me, my favorite Christopher Nolan movie was Dunkirk. My only issue with Oppenheimer was that it's not really cinematic movie in the sense that I didn't have to see it on IMAX, and so it's brilliant how it's scripted, but in terms of the cinematography of it, it was a bit anticlimactic. So the storytelling is really tight, but in terms of, again, the way that Nolan films his movie on film as opposed to on digital, and his mission to save film and to have people see it in the cinema, I didn't think that that was absolutely necessary in the case of Oppenheimer. Whereas Dunkirk, that has to be experienced, the sound and the sight. So it almost felt as if you were in Normandy during the battles, and when you see the bullet holes in the ship, you actually feel as if you were there. Now you can see that I've arrived in my office, and the sound will be quieter, even though I'm using a Rode mic. It's still capturing a lot of outside noise, especially when in the car. Okay, just a couple of final notes on the Oscars, starting with the bit of a controversy on Robert Downey Jr. and how he accepted his Oscar and didn't look last year's winner, Ke Huy Quan, in the eye. And at first, I was pretty dismayed, and the web has been buzzing that he had been very disrespectful because on stage, at least, he shook hands with Sam Rockwell as well as Tim Robbins, and so some even speculated that there might be even racist overtones. So as disappointed as I was, I think we shouldn't be too quick to judge people, especially when you accuse them of racism. So I think, in a way, it's consistent with what I said about Christopher Nolan, and I think one should judge someone by the body of their work, and in a way, I think that's what they did with even Oppenheimer, and I think the same can be true with Robert Downey Jr. I don't think his track record in any way, shape, or form suggests that he is racist. And maybe the same can be argued with Emma Stone, who apparently, because of the way she accepted her award from Michelle Yeoh, the same thing was argued about her. And we all know how Emma Stone is a big BTS fan. She just goes crazy. She's part of the army, and she appeared with them on Saturday Night Live. So I think nothing in her personal history in any way suggests that she is racist as well. So again, I think in the case of Robert Downey Jr., he does have that smart alecky kind of side to him, and I think my conjecture is that he was nervous, and we sometimes hide our nervousness by being smart alecky, and I think that is his nature. And Christopher Nolan, when he was directing Robert Downey Jr., made sure that he stayed true to the script and didn't go on his ad-libbing kind of riffs that he often tends to do on some of his movies. And you can plainly see that when he's on talk shows as well. So let's give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Let's hope that he wasn't, again, snubbing Ki Kwan when he accepted the award. But I think a lot was going through his head, and I think that just got to him. The moment got to him, and he was not as careful as he should have been, the way that Cillian Murphy was, who was just lauded for his graciousness in the way he accepted his award. Okay, finally, as for my favorite ceremonial moment in the Oscars, it was Ryan Gosling singing the Ken song. And Barbie, I mean, I saw the movie. I didn't like it as much as I had hoped I would, but I loved Ryan Gosling's over-the-top, very campy performance. And some argued, I think, especially the Guardian, that Ryan Gosling should win over Robert Downey Jr., but he did not. So that number, it showed his singing chops, which of course we saw in La La Land as well. Okay, so that does it for this episode, and signing off, and we'll see you in the next episode of Musings by Daeryun. Annyeong.